It was supposed to be a typical day spent in the safari until something unexpected happened. When George and Mark, two of the rangers, saw the lion off in the distance, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. It looked very weird. It looked like he wanted the rangers to help him. George immediately called the local veterinarian, who didn't know what she encountered. She had never seen anything like this before. When the vet saw the ultrasound, she immediately called the police. When the vet called the police, they told her that they would come her way immediately. This lion needed special help from more than just a vet. This lion needed surgery, as there was obviously something strange going on in its stomach. When the authorities arrived, they assisted the veterinarian in rendering the now nearly lifeless giant lion unconscious with sedatives. People were astonished by the events that were taking place. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and click the notification bell for more amazing stories. They had no idea that something like this would happen to them. In particular, the rangers and the veterinarian were appalled by the events that had taken place. George answered questions about himself and the lion. He has been keeping the animal safe as a ranger for multiple years. When he was done with answering all the questions, he heard disbelief from the surgery room. "I can't believe this," said the vet. "They need to patrol a huge area and have to make sure that the animals in their jurisdiction are safe from poachers and people who wish to invade the animals' land." As a ranger, George has been keeping an eye on the lions that live in the region for close to a year now. He is responsible for preventing the animals from coming to any harm. George has been doing this for some time now, and as a result, he has a good understanding of the factors that go into performing his job correctly and in the right way. But the catch was that it was simpler to say than to actually do. Even though the job that the rangers do is very important for the preservation of the savanna and its inhabitants, they aren't exactly dealing with the best people to give them help for this endeavor. This is despite the fact that the rangers' work is very important. The rangers had no one to turn to for help, not even their employer. They were cornered. The rangers' employer keeps piling on more and more pressure on them, but they simply are unable to cope with the entirety of the situation. Numerous people from the outside world have recognized this fact and have capitalized on it. On the other hand, they have a job to do. The fact that they did not receive the necessary support was merely another obstacle that they had to overcome, and they had no intention of letting it deter them from doing what was expected of them, which was to protect the savanna. One day, while George was walking along his regular path, he happened to notice something enormous off in the distance. At first, he assumed that he was simply overworked and had started hallucinating as a result. What George saw gave him a great deal of anxiety, and he even took a few steps back in response. At first, he refrained from getting too close to the lion because he was unsure of how the animal would respond to his presence. It was the biggest lion George had ever seen. He recognized this lion as well. It was the alpha male of the local lion pack. But the lion did not seem to be his proud self. His belly was completely swollen. It looked like it needed help from George. George made his way toward the lion, feeling a little uneasy but determined to get close because of his compassion for animals. After George had a conversation with his boss, there was no longer any doubt in anyone's mind that immediate action was required. George began his approach to the lion in a cautious manner as other rangers quickly arrived on the scene. Because lions are such proud animals, he had no idea how it would respond to George when he approached it. The other rangers yelled for you to turn around. "Get back!" They cautioned their George that the lion might act aggressively in this condition because he is trying to defend himself if he feels threatened, and they said that this could cause the lion to behave in an unpredictable manner. The rangers came to the conclusion that they needed to make a call to someone in order to make an attempt at contacting the animal veterinarian who is located closest to them. The veterinarian advises the rangers that they must remove themselves from the lion's immediate vicinity, or else the animal will most certainly attack them. George ensured that he and the rangers secured the area so that the veterinarian could approach it without risk. George decided to take matters into his own hands and tranquilize the lion. Since he had located it, he would see to it that everything ran as efficiently as possible going forward. George called back the vet, who was still not there, to report their finding. The rangers are curious about what they had to do next, because the bulge was found in a very specific place in the body, at the beginning of the stomach. It is highly unlikely that it could enter the lion's body. In order for it to survive, it probably needed emergency surgery right away. There was simply no room for error. However, the rangers were at a loss for what action to take. They then inquired with the veterinarian about the best course of action. But for the vet, to get to the ranger's location was a challenge in itself, because she did not know the exact location of the rangers and the workers. The idea of picking her up was suggested by one of the rangers, but doing that would take far too much time. However, there were still individuals working in the headquarters of the rangers who were aware of the precise location of the rangers and how to travel there. When the veterinarian did arrive at the scene, the lion was still lying in the same spot where the rangers had been keeping him while he was being cared for. However, it was becoming increasingly clear that this would not be the case for a very long time, as the lion had reached this point where it had become extremely aggressive. The rangers did not even want to remove their jeeps that they had put there to hold the lion in place, but the lion instantly targeted the rangers that were still in their jeeps. Because they didn't want to risk being injured, a few of the rangers drove their jeeps away from the lion. The veterinarian needed to move quickly and was aware that the only chance in this situation was for her to be able to quickly sedate the lion. There was always a risk that the lion might not wake up from this, considering the condition it was described to be in. But seeing it so actively trying to attack the rangers, the doctor had the confidence that it would survive the injection. The veterinarian waited for the lion to turn his head in the opposite direction before continuing. Following that, she cautiously approached the lion and quickly administered the sedative through an injection into the lion's lower body. In the subsequent couple of minutes, it started to slow down more and more, which allowed the veterinarian to inject the lion with a couple of additional sedatives, which were required in order to make a lion of this size completely unconscious. The veterinarian could at last focus her attention on the large bump that was located on the lion and was the primary reason she had come. She removes her surgery kit from the large jeep that is parked at the ranger's headquarters and prepares it for use so that she can go to work. When she saw the ultrasound, she did not waste any time and called the authorities. She had a feeling that something strange was going on. It would appear that the police were already in the area to offer assistance with the operation. First, George was required to respond to a few questions. Why is it him? The vet can quickly confirm her suspicions that the object is stuck at the entrance to the lion's stomach by feeling its body. The object stuck in its body was something that the lion had swallowed and could not be broken down by the digestive system. At this point, the only option left is to carefully cut open the lion and remove the object from within it. There is nothing else that can be done. However, there is no other choice that can be made. After cutting through the skin, the muscle, and the esophagus, the source of the bulge is at last exposed to all of the other people present. The veterinarian performed this procedure with the utmost precision and care. However, it is not at all what they anticipated it would be. Out of the lion came a piece of meat that was not digested properly, which caused the swelling. Inside of the meat was something rather suspicious that baffled the vet at first. This was the reason why George had to answer the police. There was something glowing inside of the meat. George told the officers that he had a hunch about what this might be and pointed out that there was a small microchip embedded inside of the meat. He began his account by describing a recent run he had in this region with a few dubious characters and how it ended. George had recently caught some poachers. They had some device with them. He confiscated it. He quickly ran to his truck and gave the officers the device. One officer immediately recognized the device. They had caught someone else with almost the same one recently. This device could be used to track the microchip. This way the poachers could easily locate the lion without the rangers knowing. This was an advanced tactic used recently. The meat they had used couldn't be digested by the lion. That is why it got stuck. As soon as the chip was extracted, the veterinarian immediately resumed stitching the lion's wounds. While she is doing this, she checks to see that the lion does not have any other issues in addition to this one. It takes the lion a few minutes to wake up after it has been sleeping. At first, it is still bewildered and dazed by the experience. However, after some time has passed, it begins to walk away a great deal quicker than it did before the surgery. After the lion had left the savannah for good, the veterinarian had one more thing that she needed to take care of. She expressed her gratitude to the rangers for the extraordinary efforts they had made to protect both themselves and the lion. After this, she returned to the city, where she has a greater number of patients awaiting her attention. She made sure that George would keep her informed about the movements of the lion. George would keep an eye on the lion for her. The police made sure that the responsible poachers were caught. They actually managed to arrest the whole organization. The animals would be safe again. Binding bonds through beautiful tales. Thank you for watching.